Hi everybody, this video is sponsored by contribution from Tracy, and here's her story. Ollie, first I want to thank you for the insight and personal stories that you air on your channel. You are the first channel I watch daily. Keep up the good work. You aired my introduction on a video you titled Narcissistic Abuse is like a snowball rolling down a mountain. Being allowed to leave my abusive home at 12 years old, my life has been a crazy ride. I know it's hard to believe that a 12-year-old could leave their home and not have anyone, including the police, look after them. But that is exactly the case. And it's not that, up until a couple months ago, I would have said it was kind of unbelievable until I met a girl at the tobacco shop who was emancipated from her mother at 11. Has been on her own since 11. So I know it does happen. I literally lived on the streets in Plano, Texas for about a year, hiding alone during the day and moving in the shadows at night to search for food. I don't remember how the idea came to me, but I realized that I could use the abuse I received from my narc stepmother as a way to get a roof over my head. Let me explain. Part of the abuse I received from Carol, step-monster, was the way she taught me to clean. The house was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, living room, dining room, entryway, etc. This house was full of wooden antique furniture and knickknacks and pictures everywhere. She made me dust, vacuum, sweep, mop, and clean the bathrooms every 2 days. She had this white glove that she would inspect my cleaning job with. If she saw any dust or dirt on the glove, she would slap me hard on the face and make me re-clean the whole thing. Needless to say, by the time I left, I was a perfectionist in my cleaning abilities. I remembered this family had a girl my age. They had disappeared from the church that my father, Jerry, was a deacon. I remember where they lived and knocked on the door and asked if I could live with them. In return, I would keep the house clean. They said yes, and they took me in. I kept the house immaculate. I lived with this family for a couple of years. I was so thankful to them. Now I'm going to rewind some to provide some detail on a certain abuse that I endured in the home of Carol and Jerry that I touched on during my introduction on the video I mentioned earlier. It wasn't until recently, I am 45 now, that I realized the pattern of sexual sickness that this abuse actually was. This specific abuse happened a couple times a week, so here it goes. Carol would be extra hateful on these days. She would get me in the corner, calling me a slut, whore, say mean things about my body, slapping me in the face and head repeatedly. Let me add that I lived in this hell from ages 5 to 12. The shit she was spewing confused me, but I always just took it. So this would go on throughout the day. My father would come home and they would go to their room and fight. I would be in my room crying because I knew what was next. My father would come in my room and tell me to take my pants and underwear off. He would have me bend over the bed. He would then start whipping the bottom half of my bare ass for what seemed like 15 minutes. He would then go back to their room, and instead of hearing fighting, I would hear what I realized later was a loud fucking session. This would happen a couple times a week in pretty much the exact same way. It is a fucking shame that the issues we acquire from these evil narcs is something that they don't ever have to deal with. Instead, us as the survivors have to struggle with the amount of work it takes to overcome as many of them as we can. It makes me extremely angry when I come up against an issue that I feel like is so ingrained that I can't overcome it, but instead accept it as a part of who I am. I would love to hear any comments or advice you may have. Again, I appreciate what you have chosen to do with your channel. Much love and respect, Tracy. You could always tell At least I could, when something was brewing. Like, I understand that daily, those days when shit was just, they were just on you, where my mother was just, no matter what you did, you walked, you breathed, they were beating the shit out of you, beating the shit out of you. With her, it was about her and her being able to put her hands on me. With your parents, it was like they both got sexually aroused out of beating you, out of that sadism. It's on the same scale of sickness. It's like when you get engulfed, they make you a part of their sick sexual games. You're nothing more than a pawn to them. And I've been saying that all along, that we are merely pawns. We are merely playthings to be used. And I would wonder about this family you moved in with, like a 12 or a 13-year-old shows up and offers to clean the house. Like, were you cleaning? Like, was it like that? I mean, because I'm not sure that's right either. I understand you're thankful to them, but I mean, if it was more to it than that, then I mean, I hope that's what it was. But to have a 12-year-old show up and just take them in for, that seems a bit strange as well. So I'm wondering what was going on there. I'm not saying something did happen there, but that's very, very strange. I mean, I would like to know. I would love to know more about this. But what happened with you is you got caught up. Your abuse was all based on them fucking. That's what it was all about. So she beating you, and then, you know, they're having this game where she was beating you all day, and she's all violent, and sends you to the room, and then they fight, and he comes in and makes you pull down your pants and beats you more, and then they go and fuck. Yeah, that's sexual abuse. Because they're making you a part of their sexual routine. And that's really what happened here. When you got narcissists who make their children a part of their sexual routine. Really sick. Because that's what a lot of this was about. It was about that lead up, that charge. So you had to be beaten all day and then forced to clean, and then they like fuck over it. And it's any wonder you're having problems with healthy relationships? Not really. Not really. Because what had happened is all this was about you being made a part of your parents' sexual routine. And that's disgusting. That's horrendous. There's just really nothing else to be said on that. So I'm sorry that happened. I'm glad you're away. Thank you for your contribution and your story. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, if you have a topic you'd like me to cover, or you have a narcissist you'd like to expose with text messages or audio, you know what to do with the PayPal link in the description box. I'll have the video right back to you. This is Ollie Matthews. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again soon. Bye.